The calendar has flipped to December, and we've got the backdrop to prove it. He's Vic Carucci. I'm Jonathan Acosta. And you see Jeff Skinner here with a red beanie. Well, the first 10,000 fans, they're going to be pretty lucky. They're going to get their own red beanie with Jeff Skinner's signature on the front and the number 1,000 to commemorate the special occasion. How much fun are you guys having right now?
A lot of fun. I would say it's a lot of fun.
The last time they were in South Florida, Jordan Poyer was part of a Buffalo team capturing yet another AFC East title by beating Miami in the final game of the regular season. But now there's a new wrinkle in this Bills-Dolphins rivalry.
Para ti, ¿qué significaría y qué pensarías en ese momento cuando te llegue esa llamada?
Me sentiría muy contento.
It was in this portion of the stands here at Highmark Stadium, right around the 10-yard line, where you could hear an audible cheer from the crowd when Andreessen made one of his 4 tackles in this game.
Paul, and you also brought light to this. One of the Leafs players, Domi, tweeted after the game that it was the best crowd the Leafs have had all season, and it wasn't at Scotiabank, it was at KeyBank Center.
And a Bills team that's 3-0 for the first time since 2020. And to borrow a word from some of my younger sisters, the vibes around this team could not be any better.
Now, I normally wear contact lenses up here, but today the glasses had to come out to honor this American lenses-wearing legend.
Y yo pienso, ¿qué significa el premio MVP? El MVP no es necesariamente el mejor jugador del año, es el jugador más valioso para su equipo.
Whether you're a well-respected defensive mind like Sean McDermott or you're a guy like me with a smartphone and too many fantasy football teams, it's easy to see why the Miami Dolphins are one of the most feared offenses in the NFL. A night of celebration in downtown Buffalo with the Bandits sending another banner to the rafters at KeyBank Center. And honestly, the Bandits are sort of starting to get kind of used to these sorts of nights, raising a championship banner for the second straight year.
Baseball is a way of life in the Dominican Republic. Growing up in the capital of Santo Domingo, Bison's infielder Orelvis Martinez fell in love with the game at a young age.
Bueno, yo comencé a jugar por vía de mi padre, que siempre estaba jugando béisbol, y de chiquito fui viendo eso y me gustó y le seguí los caminos.
That path turned into a blossoming career. At the age of 16, Martinez signed a $3.5 million minor league contract with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Fue algo emocionante realmente y muy feliz porque lograr tu sueño a temprana edad con el sacrificio que uno ha hecho es algo maravilloso.
Martinez, whose only previous trip to the U.S. was a vacation to California, now returned to the States, this time as a pro baseball player.
He was young and he was very raw, and he had a lot to learn.
Despite that, there was one aspect of Martinez's game that made him a highly rated prospect back at 16, and as the Bisons and Blue Jays excited now.
Every time I watch him go to the plate, it's like, you know, he could go deep or hit a home run, and he's going to hit something hard usually. So, I mean, I think that's the special thing that he has.
And that's been on full display this season.
Going back is Rozier. He's at the wall, and you can forget about that one.
In 40 games, the second-ranked prospect in the Blue Jays system has 10 home runs and 31 RBI, leading the Bisons in both categories.
Eso es la consistencia y el trabajo. El trabajo te da esa consistencia para que eso salga ahí, sobre todo la disciplina.
Home run! Orelvis Martinez with a 3-run shot.
Discipline, and according to his manager, maturity.
You know, he's, 22 years old, and the maturity that he's using at the plate right now is beyond his years, so it's really nice to see the progress.
Continued progress that could lead to a call-up from the Blue Jays. It's a moment that would complete the journey he's dreamed of, from Santo Domingo to the majors.
Para ti, ¿qué significaría y qué pensarías en ese momento cuando te llegue esa llamada?
Me sentiría muy contento, realmente, porque es el momento, ya una vez tú firmas, ya el segundo paso es llegar a la Grande Liga, ¿me entiendes? Una vez ya uno llega, ya uno tiene que tratar de dar lo mejor de uno para uno establecerse, pero ese es el mayor sueño de cualquier pelotero.
A dream that Martinez is well on the way to reaching. On your side in Buffalo, Jonathan Acosta, Channel 2 Sports. Early weekday mornings, you'll find the University at Buffalo hockey team practicing at Northtown Center in Amherst. Hockey at UB is a club sport, a remaining part of the legacy
of Ed Wright.
It's really cool to walk around the rink and just know that you're part of a founding part of history.
Hockey at UB used to be an NCAA varsity sport, where Ed Wright's legacy was also part of history. Wright grew up in Chatham, Ontario, playing multiple sports.
Chatham was the greatest place in the world to grow up.
A love for baseball.
5 all-Ontario championship baseball teams.
And a love for hockey.
Hockey months, we were out there playing hockey, pretending to play our heroes.
Obstacles, both financial.
Being as poor as I was in hockey, it was the service clubs that made sure that I had skates.
And societal.
One incident, in Pee Wee, where we were coming into the rink and they weren't going to allow me to play. And our coach says, well, if Ed doesn't play, then, the team's not going to play.
Not enough, though, to hold Wright back from excelling at the sport.
I was the first Black to play for the Chatham Junior Maroons.
Wright's play on the ice landed him a scholarship at Boston University, where he went on to score 29 goals.
I had skill, I had talent, and I had the opportunity to expose it and for it to be recognized, rather than just the color of my skin.
And that was the mentality he took from the ice to the bench. When in 1970, recently graduated, he took the job at UB, becoming the first Black head hockey coach in NCAA history.
For all the years I coached, I was unaware of the fact that I was the only one in the country.
His players unaware as well.
It was something that never really crossed my mind.
Toonie Murchie played for Wright in the 70s.
Certainly a young coach, but he was an old school coach.
A coach who was tough on his players.
When you're giving them the tough lessons, that it's because you care for them, you love them.
Players who had their coaches back.
As you know, Coach Ed Wright, they started yelling Coach Ed White. As far as I'm concerned, that's fighting words. That's my coach. You're not going to disrespect him in any way. So I turned and confronted, and I remember him taking me by the shoulder and saying, Toonie, your battle's not up there, it's out on the ice. And I never forgot that. It didn't bother him a bit, those cheap shot comments.
Wright just continued powering along.
You dealt with those intimidating factors, this superficial thing called color.
He went on to coach at Buffalo for 12 seasons, compiling 138 wins and posting 6 winning seasons, before later on becoming the first Black scout in NHL history. His total time at UB spanned 40 years, including creating the university's recreation and intramural program. His legacy and impact commemorated by a donation from his former player Murchie to have the Triple Gym at Alumni Arena named after the historic head coach.
The feeling is a great feeling. It's a feeling of love. It's a feeling of light. It's a feeling of warmth.
Immortality. I want people that didn't know him or didn't play for him to realize, this is a great man, and, I'll never forget him.
Wright's impact extending to coaches now following in his footsteps, like Seth Van Voorhees, who met Wright at his UB Hall of Fame induction.
It gives you hope as a player of color, coach of color. You look to Ed Wright. As Ed Wright stood on that bench and I stand on that bench, I want other people to see, you too can do that,
As Wright's legacy lives in the players and coaches that have come after him, he reflects on the 2 words that summarize his journey.
Opportunity and respect. And, hey, that's, I guess that's who I am, and, take what you have and do the best you can with it.